But beauty without timing is a curse. Your body is no longer your own. They still talk about that night. The night the village shrine burned to ashes, unprovoked and unexplained. And on that same night, Nneka gave birth to a baby girl. She didn't cry, she only stared, her eyes wide open, still and knowing. The elders took it as a sign.
Nothing good follows a fire like that. Mark that child.
But Nneka named her Olioma, one born with beauty. She believed her child was a blessing, not a curse. At first, Olioma seemed just like any other child, quiet, gentle and polite. She fetched water, she swept the compound, she smiled, even when others didn't. But something was wrong. At 13, nothing. At 16, still nothing. By 18, the whispers grew louder. No breasts, not even the faintest swell. The village women noticed first. Then the men joined. The market women mocked her whenever she goes to the markets.
She still flat like yam leaf.
A young man laughing.
Who go marry boy girl?
They laughed behind her back, sometimes right to her face. Children pointed at her. Mothers warned their sons. Suitors passed her by like a broken pot. Nneka tried everything. She boiled bitter roots. She rubbed oils. She paid a dibia in Mbise to perform rituals that made her weep. But the girl, she remained the same. No one wanted a woman who looked like a boy. Olioma became a shadow in her own village, a reminder of what wasn't, an object of shame. She stopped dancing at festivals, stopped going to the river when other girls bathed. Even her smile, once soft and bright, grew thin. But one person never turned away. It was Ebube.
You are not broken, Olioma. You are just different.
He was her friend since childhood, the only one who didn't look at her with pity or disgust. But Olioma couldn't believe his words. Not when the whole world said otherwise. She didn't feel different, she felt cursed. The sun was hot that afternoon, the kind of heat that made goats lie under trees and women found themselves with broken trays. Olioma was coming back from the stream when she saw her, a strange woman. Tall, dark, dressed in all black, her skin smooth like polished wood, her eyes golden like the belly of a candle flame. She had no load on her head, only a small basket filled with old mirrors. She stood at the edge of the village square, quiet, smiling faintly, like she already knew everyone's secret. People gathered around her, mostly out of fear. No one had seen her before, and no one knew who invited her. She didn't speak loudly. Her voice was low, like it came from inside a calabash.
I saw mirrors, not the kind that show your face, but the kind that show your truth.
Most villagers turned away. A few hissed, but the woman's eyes stayed on one person, Olioma. Their eyes met, and for a moment, it felt like time stopped. The woman walked slowly toward her. Each step measured like a drum beat. She didn't laugh, she didn't sneer. She simply looked at Olioma and said,
Some beauty is not meant to bloom too early, but when it does, the world will pay for it.
Olioma said nothing. She didn't know what to say. That night, the woman came to her compound. No one saw how she entered. She just appeared, standing at the doorway like she did always been part of the house. She handed Olioma a mirror, oval-shaped, framed in dark wood, carved with symbols that didn't look like anything she did ever seen before.
Sleep with this under your pillow,
the woman said.
But beware, everything has a price.
Before Olioma could speak, the woman turned and walked away. No one saw her again. Olioma held the mirror in her hands for a long time. It felt cold, then warm, then cold again, like it had its own heartbeats. That night, she placed it under her pillow, slowly, quietly, like someone planting a seed they weren't sure they wanted to grow. And as she lay down, her eyes wide open in the dark, a soft wind blew through the cracks in the window. The village was silent, the night held its breath, and something, somewhere, began to stir. There was a sharp pain in her chest, hot, stabbing and deep. She sat up, breathing hard, soaked with sweat. The pain didn't stop. It moved across her chest like fire, spreading and stretching, tearing something open inside her. She held herself and cried out loud, but no one heard. By midday, her body began to change. It started with a swelling, small, round and firm, then another. By nightfall, the swellings had grown full breasts, perfect shape, no sack, no spots, no scars. The next day, she stepped out of her mother's hut, and the whole village stared. Women froze with baskets on their heads. Men dropped firewood. Children pointed. The same boys who mocked her now gathered at her gates. They came with gifts, yams, goats, palm wine. Some knelt, others begged. One even brought his father to ask for her hand in marriage. Nneka, her mother, was shocked. She thanked God aloud. She believed the herbs had finally worked. But Olioma said nothing. She only smiled, a tight, quiet smile. At first, she sat alone, staring into the mirror. Her reflection stared back. Then something strange happened. The reflection smiled, even though she wasn't smiling. The smile was wide, dark and knowing. She dropped the mirror, but the next day it was back in her hands. Quite long, strange things started happening to any man who lustfully touched her. It began with the first man, a young farmer. He had kissed her hand after offering palm wine. That night, he went to bed and never woke up. The villagers said it was poison, or maybe a spiritual attack, but Olioma said nothing. The second man, bolder than the rest, touched her waist. The next morning, blood poured from his eyes and ears. He screamed like a trapped goat before madness took him. Still, the suitors kept coming, as if the beauty had blinded them. They came with praise and passion, and one by one, they fell. Olioma was terrified. She didn't understand what was happening. The mirror was waiting for her on the bed, even though she had locked it in a box. She looked into the mirror. This time, the reflection moved before she did. It raised its hands, smiled, tilted its head, and still Olioma sat frozen. That night, she dreamt of Mama Enoma. The same black robe, the same gold eyes, but now her face was harder. "You asked for beauty," the woman said. "You got it. But beauty without timing is a curse. Your body is no longer your own." Olioma woke up shaking. She tried to throw the mirror into the pit latrine, but it was back in her room by morning, waiting. He was the only one who hadn't changed. He still came to see her, but now his eyes were full of worry. He had heard the stories, the deaths, the whispers. He stood at her doorway one evening, quiet, looking at her like he was seeing someone else entirely.
Olioma,
He said.
this is not normal. That mirror, throw it away.
She wanted to tell him everything. How it started, how it grew, how the mirror kept returning. But the words got stuck. Tears rolled down her face. She leaned into his arms, the first safe place she had felt in weeks. He didn't touch her like the others, he only held her. She felt warmth, a flicker of peace. That night, with shaking hands, Olioma ran into the forest and threw the mirror far into the darkness. She didn't look back, she just ran. But by morning, the mirror was back on her pillow, exactly where she had placed it the first time. Olioma fell to her knees and begged. She called out into the wind, into the forest, into the night.
Mama Enoma,
She cried.
please, I want to be free.
The old woman appeared, not in flesh, not in dream, but in a voice that filled the room like smoke. Only a pure soul who loves you without touching can break the curse, she said. If not, it will kill you next. Olioma knew who that soul was, Ebube. She found him at the edge of the village, near the old mango tree where they used to play as children. She told him everything. He listened. Then, without fear, he said,
Let me carry it. If it will save you, I will do it.
He took her hands. No lust, just love. The wind grew cold. The sky dimmed. Olioma felt something shift, but the curse didn't want love. It wanted blood. Ebube gasped. Blood filled his mouth. His eyes widened. His knees gave way. He collapsed in her arms, choking her name.
Ebube!
She screamed, but it was too late. He died before sunrise, and Olioma ran into the forest, into silence. She was never seen again. Some say she became one of the spirits that roam the hills. Others say her mirror still lies beneath her old bed waiting for the next girl who thinks she is not enough. The moral of this story is that don't let the world push you into becoming something you are not ready for. Trying to force what isn't your time can bring pain instead of joy. Wait for your time. Everything good comes when it should. And learn to appreciate yourself. You are beautiful just the way you are. Hello fam, thank you for watching through to the end of this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you are yet to do that. Like and share this video, and until we meet on our next story. Bye.